contracts to administer that agreement. So after 30 years, I decided that I was going to retire. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I knew I was too young to retire. But about a year later, there was an opening in my for city council, and I signed up and I got elected, and I managed to get myself elected for 2 additional terms. And these were tough economic times during the mid-2000s. We were in the middle of an economic crisis, and I think that Kenosha pulled through those times pretty well in comparison to the rest of the country, and I was proud to work with Mayor Bosman and the rest of the city council at that time to help move that forward. And then in the middle of my 3rd term, there was an opening in the state assembly, and I decided to run there, and I won that election, and I've been honored. And what a great honor it's been to represent the 57,000 people that live in the 65th Assembly District for the last 8 years. I'd just like to talk about 3 particular bills a little bit, just to make a point about how important legislation really is. When I left the city council, there was a plan to tear down the Elks Club just down the road. That was going to cost $400,000. It was already budgeted to knock that building down. And when I got to Madison, there was a bill proposed that I was a co-sponsor of for tax credits, historic tax credits. And I was able to, I talked to the Gorman Group developer on that particular project, and he said, if this bill passes, it's certainly a possibility or a probability that we will do something on the now is the Stella. What a great opportunity that is. Now, that's not the only project that has benefited. It actually came to creation as a result of the historic tax credits. Right down the road here, we have the KYF, which has now been repurposed for workplace housing, and we also have the newest boutique hotel downtown, the Apsis. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but I understand that they also use the historic tax credit, and also the Barnes building, which just recently repurposed and reopened. And all across the state of Wisconsin, this tax credit has really made a huge difference in downtown. And wrap it up. 5 minutes already? Oh my goodness. Well, that was one bill. Do you mind if we give everybody 7 minutes instead of 5?
Okay, go.
Okay, go. I don't think I should be counted for that moment of silence. And another bill is the lead pipe bill. And the lead pipe bill, I was really proud to co-author because we all know that lead pipes are really a big problem, not only for younger people, but also for elderly people in terms of getting lead in water. And we're very fortunate in Wisconsin to have not only some of the cleanest water in the state, but also the most inexpensive water in the state. And we're also very fortunate that we do not have lead mains, water mains. We only have lead laterals that go from the street to the house. And so I co-authored a bill, and I was pleased that it passed, that will now make it easier for homeowners to replace the lateral. And also, I'm proud of the fact that Kenosha was the first city that approved permission by the PSC to actually begin this project. And we're doing, as you know, the 22nd Avenue from one end of town to the other end of town. And all of those laterals will be changed out as the project goes forward. So it was a great opportunity to do something for water. So I'm going to forget about the 3rd bill. But I am going to say that, as we know, people tend to be a little bit cynical about politics sometimes, and they say that there's not really much of a difference between one party and the other party, and I got to say I disagree with that completely, and I could list a whole list of things there. But I know that I'm kind of getting an eye on this. So I would just close by saying that there are certainly a lot of big issues that the state will deal with in the next session. One of those, I think that has really been problematic is the Republican Party's decision to not expand Medicaid. This has cost the state $1 billion. That's a B. $1 billion, and it would have insured 82,000 people, giving them health insurance all along the way. So that's just one of several different issues. I'm going to stop there with the federal stuff. I just want to say that there are two differences between my opponent and myself. And one is she supports Donald Trump and I don't. And I just have to say that the revelations of the last couple of days, when the president has known exactly how deadly COVID was going to be. When January he said there was only going to be one person, they were from China. In February he said there's only going to be 15 people, we really have it well in their hand. We now know that he knows that that was not true. So I'm really getting to the point now where I have to close, I believe, because she's going to give me the hook. So thanks for the opportunity to be here. Sometime will come where I get the full 10 minutes.
Thank you, Todd. We want to still give you time for Q&A with Crystal. So, and then, of course, if we had Todd, we must be having the challenger. Crystal Miller is a local business owner of assisted living facilities, and she's running for 65th Assembly. So let's bring her up.
Better walk fast so I get my minutes.
All right, you got 7 now. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
Oh, and one thing, just so you know, we are now videoing as opposed to streaming the
We
stream
had
drop.
a stream
Okay.
posted. If you could please use the microphone.
Okay. Is it okay if I stand?
Sure.
I don't like podiums.
I'll move it. I'm Crystal Miller. Thank you for having me. I feel like I am in a room of kindred spirits. I'm an entrepreneur through and through. And if you've had a challenge as an entrepreneur, I can identify with that. In 2004, my husband and I had about 20 rental units, and he decided that he would quit his job so that he could manage them. And on the very same day, on November 30th, 2004, I was laid off from my job. And so I was 6 months pregnant, and both of us decided that we were not going to look for other jobs. We were just going to simply make our way. And in 2008, we lost everything. And so I remember what that feels like. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that I had through good communication and really some smart moves to not claim bankruptcy. But it was a lot of work. And in 2009, on April 1st, which is very funny to take over a business you don't know much about on April Fool's Day. I don't recommend it. But April 1st, 2009, I took over Frontita Assisted Living, 3 homes in Milwaukee that were really distressed and in trouble. Within a few months, my husband and I said, well, one of us had better dig into this because this is way more than a real estate deal. This is a real business and they need leadership. My husband decided to stay home and I went to work and I dug in really, really hard. But what I learned within a few months of doing that is that it was more than the business and more than assisted living. It was the opportunity to care for my team. And really, to fast forward to today and why I'm running, this was probably one of the reasons where I got my heart for legislation and policy. And what I've seen happen, first of all, in our workforce. I have a heart for our workforce. Some of the policies that we have right now in place need to be revamped. I have seen people not be able to reach the success that they deserve because they feel like they may be just held back because of the way that our benefits are structured. I believe that we should really help lift people to a place where they realize that going to work the next day is valuable and that they can win. And when I have more time, I'll share more about what I really feel about that, but that's one of the reasons why I'm running. The other thing is I do have a heart for small business and regulations that make sense and eliminating hurdles or limiting them for people who just want to really achieve the American dream. I believe that everyone should be able to reach prosperity, but not because of prosperity, but what it does for people. And I believe in our workers, I believe in our workforce, I believe in small business, I believe it's the backbone of our economy. And for some of the things that we've been struggling with the last few weeks in this city, I guess more than anything, it has grown my love for this place. And it has grown my desire to continue to fight for this city. And whether the 65th District decides to elect me or not, I will continue fighting. I have been involved in the city, I would say for 10 years. And since I've had an opportunity to really dig into nonprofit work, I have seen the advantage and the opportunity that we have to cooperate. Small businesses, large businesses, our education, faith-based organizations, and government. We can make a difference if we continue putting one foot in front of the other. And so as I have been on this journey of running for this seat, I've learned a lot. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about is women running. And because I'm here in a room full of women, I just want to say that it is lonely. It is hard. And I would just make a commitment to you today that if you've ever thought about running for a seat, I will help you. Because it might not be the assembly, it might not be the Senate, it might be a school board, it might be aldermen, but we need to support each other in this and to truly have diverse voices. I've had people approach me and say, I never really thought I would support a Republican, but I want to see a diverse voice. And for that, I am really grateful. I am so thankful for the things that I've learned on this journey. And I need your help. I really do. I love bipartisan work. And actually, my very first phone call when I decided to really pull the trigger on this was to Tod Ohnstad, my opponent. And I called Tod and I said, this is a little bit of an awkward conversation because I love what we've accomplished together in the spaces in our city. But I want a bigger seat at the table. And I am gonna run against you. And he was so gracious to me and I'm so grateful for that. I think this is democracy, is people standing up and saying, I'll try this. And quite honestly, it's, I don't know if anyone has ever listened to the Brene Brown podcast and going into COVID where she talked about the terrible first time, although she used a different word. She used a word that's not really in my vocabulary. But the terrible first time, I've experienced a lot of terrible first times in this. But every single time I do something that's scary, I get better at it. And I have more courage and I have more freedom as I move down this journey. And I would encourage you to do the same. Whether it's in your business, in your home, in your school, or running for government office, your voice matters and you can represent people whose voices matter. And that's really why I decided to do something that's really hard in a really hard year. And I just appreciate your support. I would really value your vote on November 3rd or your influence with the people who live in the 65th district.
Thank you. So now what we like to do is we've got 5 minutes where you can ask questions of both candidates. So Tod, come on back up, please.
Okay.
I'm gonna stand in the middle and hand the microphone back and forth because literally we're gonna try to get 3 questions and probably I think that's all we'll have time for. But questions, there you go. Well, just
Well, for both of you guys, I have gotten these in the mail in the neighborhood. It's predominantly black neighborhood. We don't know who you guys are or what you guys do. How are you guys going to educate color of people in your district, in your neighborhoods? Because this is not telling me enough to want to go out and vote for neither one of you guys.
good question. Why don't you go first?
If you don't mind, I'm going to tell a little story.
Quick, yeah, do quick one.
I'll try to make this quick. A couple weeks ago, I was at the rally that Jesse Jackson was at, and I met Jesse Jackson in 1988. That's another story. But at the end of that demonstration, I was standing underneath a tree. It was a hot day, and there was an elderly black guy who lives in my district, Doug, and he said, my son just graduated from Bradford, and he did pretty well, and he's going to go to school, and he's going down to college, and I was hoping that he would go to Ole Miss, but he's going to go to Michigan. I'm just glad he's not going to go to Wisconsin, because Wisconsin has become the worst place to raise an African-American family in the entire country, and we imprison more black men than percentage-wise than any other state. I have been working on civil rights issues ever since I was in high school. I was telling a story to my table earlier, and I'd love to sit down and talk to you and tell you the story and some other ideas. But I commit to you that I will continue working on civil rights with the Black Legislative Caucus, as I have for the last 8 years, and will continue to. And let's have that conversation.
Thank you for asking, Lillian. So my opponent has been in office for 8 years. So you've had 8 years to get to know him. And if you don't know him, to me that would speak to something bigger. But, so I've had a hard road of doing this, but I don't know if you got that card at your house, but I did knock on doors and I was in the neighborhoods to talk to people. I believe that your voice matters. And the reason I believe that is because people that I've had in my life, I've been able to take their message to Madison and to legislators and to knock on those doors and get things solved and changed and budgets that came back to Kenosha. But the reason I put my thing on your door was so that you'd have opportunity to reach to me, and I would love to have a conversation. It's been hard. COVID has made this. You know, it's almost more of an even playing ground, because I bet you felt the same way. Like, how do we do this? How do you run during COVID? It makes it hard. I have a lot of live videos on my Facebook page, and Facebook doesn't reach everybody, but a lot of ways to get to know me are out there, and I welcome you to.
So we have time for one more question. Who's got one? Christine.
I'll just talk really loud.
Okay.
Okay, both of you mentioned something regarding health insurance. Todd, I believe you mentioned something about Medicaid for all. I know, Crystal, in your brochure, you talked about affordable health insurance. Could you speak more on that?
Let me start.
I believe that we need to take care of all our vulnerable in our state. Like, so I take my assisted living, we take care of older adults with mental illness. I take care of people with memory care at a different home, not the same place. And I take care of frail elderly. And about half of my population is managed through family care. So that is probably the thing that is closest to my heart. I can talk about it because I know about it. And I believe that those things should be preserved. But I also believe we should take care of children who are disadvantaged. I believe that people who are disabled, no matter their age, we need to preserve those kind of things. And I also support insurance for people with pre-existing conditions. And I think a lot of times Republicans people say they don't. I do. I was talking at my table, I said one of the biggest negotiating points you have when you get to Madison, I believe, is just from what I've already done, is negotiating within your own party. And I think I bring a perspective that will be really valuable.
She's making us like talk fast.
I know, and I usually try to talk slow. Just to go back just for a second to you, I certainly don't know all 57,000 people in my district, but certainly I think that I certainly pride myself on an open door policy. My office is very responsive in terms of constituent problems, so don't hesitate to call me. Actually, what I was talking about was, although I believe in a nationalized healthcare system, I was really speaking particularly about the Republicans having refused to expand Medicaid in Wisconsin. That has cost the state of Wisconsin $1 billion. And all for the last decade, we could have been insuring 82,000 people, in addition to what Badger Care already does. And this is purely ideological. This is a result of Governor Scott Walker not wanting to have anything to do with Obamacare. So he said, I'm not going to expand Medicaid because I don't know whether or not that money is going to keep on coming. Well, that money has kept on coming to all the states who signed up to expand Medicaid for that whole period of time. And that includes 13 Republican governors all throughout the country. I think it's 13 now. One just, I think it was Missouri, just recently agreed to as well. So this is something that we could do like that tomorrow. If the legislature would ever agree to actually come back to work. And that would be the first thing that we would have to do, and then we would just simply have to vote for it. Yes, we are a donor state. We give the federal government more money than we get back from them. And that problem could be resolved just like overnight by simply saying, yes, we want to expand Medicaid. That would give us millions of dollars to do other important work with, and also insure 82,000 additional Wisconsinites. So I think that healthcare should be a right, but even in the short run, this is something that the state of Wisconsin could do and should do as soon as we get back to work, whatever that might be.
Thank you very much, Todd and Crystal. We're going to let you sit back down right now. You can still mingle after if you'd like. We just have a couple of announcements.
Okay,
and
great.
we appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
Okay, I have a few announcements, and some of them are really important. First of all, the city of Kenosha and I believe Kenosha County are all looking for poll workers. Darlene and I signed up last week, but need room. It's a long day, but let me know if you're interested. I will get you the contact info. Secondly, the gathering we announced last month that we're trying to do at the APHIS Hotel has been postponed because of COVID restrictions. You can't have more than 6 people at a table right now. So we're gonna try to do it a little bit later on. And you might have seen on our Facebook page or in one of our newsletters that we have now signed up as Kenosha Women's Network on Amazon Smile. So if you purchase from Amazon, it's really easy to just go to the Amazon Smile page, click on Kenosha, and we'll get 0.5% about anything you buy. And a lot of people are buying at Amazon right now, if you look at the trucks all over, right? Okay, Guida's asked me to remind everyone that the year is coming to an end. We're looking for new board members. Our board went from to 16 members this year. So we're looking for new people that are willing to come in and work with the board to help continue to build and grow KWN. Lastly, I have some of the KWN t-shirts over there. They're $15 if anyone likes a t-shirt. Amy would probably be happy to take money. Oh yes, thank you for modeling. Okay, so before we wrap this up with any additional announcements, I'd just really like the guests that are here today to introduce themselves one time. Would you stand up really quick, and we're just gonna give you just 30 seconds about your business.
Hi, I'm Lillian Evans. I recently run Short Roots Urban Farm, specializing in microgreens and other small crop vegetables.
And where can they find you?
You can find me on my website, www.shortrootsfarm.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
And at the Kenosha Harbor Market. Okay, and we got 2 more guests here, right?
Hi, I'm Ann Hooper. I am a single person accounting firm in town. Started my business this year and looking for small business clients. I work with people usually that are up to probably like $500,000 in revenue, trying to help them get peace of mind and take something off their plate so they can run their business and get revenue, which is what business owners want to do. And I'm happy to be here. You can find me on my website at azaccountingandtax.com.
Thank you. And
I'm Lynn Davis. I'm currently the president of the Kenosha Sports Fishing and Conservation Association. Right now, except for me, it's all men, but we're trying to encourage women to fish because women fish too. So, and you'll find us on Facebook or on our website. Thank you.
thank you. Now, any members have any announcements? I'm gonna continue with the mic. Laura?
Laura Cox with Acupuncture and Wellness of Wisconsin, and tomorrow I had an in-person event scheduled at my office called Calm by the Creek. It's been raining all week and it's supposed to rain again tomorrow, so instead of meditation in the mud, we are going to go online. There is a free stress-reducing hypnosis session that's going to be at 1:30. It's free to attend. All you need to do is register on my Facebook page. It's Acupuncture and Wellness of Wisconsin. And then anytime you see me out in the community, if I have my purse or if I have this little blue bag with me, that means that I'm giving free ear seeds for stress. It is an acupuncture technique where we tape a little tiny seed to your ear. It's a radish seed. There's nothing in it. But what it does is stimulate and Guida is modeling over here. She's got her ear seeds in. I can do some before I leave, and it stimulates a point to turn down the volume on your fight or flight response so that you can sleep better, be calmer, and manage the stress in your daily lives.
Thank you, Laura. Any other announcements?
So I have a webinar that's being hosted by my branch office up in Milwaukee, and it's going to be talking about COVID and the election and how it relates to your financial situation. So it's free, and that's something that I can share with you if that's something you're interested in.
Thank you.
October 15th.
All right. Any more announcements here?
I was asked by Frances, because she won't make the announcement herself, Susan B. Anthony is on slate for 2021. It's March 5th. We're just wrapping up the last pieces of the nomination forms and the scholarship forms and the nonprofit grant forms and the reservation forms, but they should be out soon, and it's March 5th, if I have the right dates.
It is. Yeah, it's Friday, March 5th.
So mark your calendar, don't be late, because if we're still social distancing, you don't wanna miss out. And then,
I got it.
okay.
I know, Katie was motioning to me that, I know what this happens to be. So, you know that Katie is the chair of the, what do we call your committee? Events. I was gonna say finance for some reason, because you're also the treasurer. Anyhow, so, you're going to see online on our Facebook page, some individual members offering to donate based on sales of certain products. There are 4 right now. And you'll see these coming up. There'll be 1 week, 2 weeks, or an entire month where you can go in and buy from them, and they'll be donating anywhere from 5 to 20% back to KWN as an online fundraiser. I'm doing it with CTFO, the CBD business I work with. I know that Joanna Carlberg is doing this with send out cards. Joanna Horner. Sorry. Pampered Chef, and send out cards, and then, who are the other 2 remember? Norwex from
Michelle Oxa
and
the books, Diane
Brunel with Osborne Books. Thank you very much. There'll be more on that. If you are in a position that you have a small business and can do a contribution with a campaign, let us know. Like, I should say, like Katie now. All right, let's do a raffle. Does everybody have raffle tickets that needs them? Yep.
I'm going to stop them.
Okay. All right.